summer solstice, and also recently in the martial arts world we lost Shihan Tony Troche, who was a good friend of Shihan Kevin Funakoshi and a teacher for Shihan Kevin Funakoshi and for myself. In the particular specialty that he had was Bunkai, the hidden applications of Kata. And I'm very grateful that he came at a time in my life when I was growing up, that he wanted to have a young student to be a training partner for his son. And so I was the one he unloaded a lot of that special information on, and it's been a lifelong journey for me. Anytime I look at any type of form, kata, in any martial art, I really look for the bunkai. I really look for what the hidden applications of the movements could be, both historically and projectively in terms of research and development, to try to maximize our potential as martial artists. So one of the forms that is popular in Shotokan karate that Shihan Kevin asked me to share a little bit with you is Heian Shodan. So looking at only the very opening sequence of Heian Shodan, and I'm on purpose doing this in street clothes with Sensei John Rick and Sensei Sheila Noble, because in your regular life that would be the case. You might be wearing whatever you normally would wear. And because it's summer in Hawaii, that's shorts and t-shirt weather here. So in karate, right, from Yoi, the kata would start with this preparatory movement, turning into Gerambarai, followed by Uezuki, followed by Gerambarai, followed by this movement here, another Uezuki, and then back to the front. So let's just take a little look at some of the possibilities that these entail for us. So the very first one, if Sensei John is behind you, and I'm just standing here, right? And his right arm comes around my neck. My going into the preparatory movement by lowering my center of gravity and extending here, I can roll my shoulder to take that arm, so that now when I make that turn, that turns into a throw. If another opponent came up behind me after this movement here, right, and I'm like, oh no, a punch is coming to my face. Now, I'm coming in here, letting that punch go right by my face, and then my other hand, where you would just come back into your waist here, that's going to continue onward, so that right here, that's continuing to do his leg, boom. So that's already two very devastating throws, which on hard ground is kind of the end of the fight, right? And all that is Gerambarai Uezuki. Okay? Now from that, we're making a very long turn. From the extended Uezuki to this Gerambarai, that's 180 degrees. Now that's significant because if Sensei John's on this side of me, and I've just completed this movement, right? That becomes a spinning movement, which we call the steering wheel throw, which redirects his head. And there are many ways to perform this. I can be on the inside as I just showed, right? Or I can be under the arm, here. And the end movement is the same. From this position here, this is a very old technique. So the bunkai for the karate reveals something that's actually common in Japanese swordsmanship. For iaijutsu, iaido, it's a very, very old technique. It's also in jujitsu. Now the reason for it had to do with the samurai wearing swords. So if I have a sword and you don't, there's a good reason for you to grab my wrist, because now I can't draw my sword. That would be the reason. In today's world, it's not very common for one man to walk to another and go, "What's up?" It's not such a common attack. But if you look at it in terms of weapon retention, it's quite valuable. Let's say you're a police officer or a soldier, which Sensei John is, he's in the United States Army, then someone could be going for your sidearm or preventing you from drawing your sidearm. So there it becomes very important. He grabs my wrist, I'm going to take him off balance, making my arm part of me. So even if he grabs on really strong, there's a point where he can't hold on anymore. And then the strike is to what's in acupuncture called gallbladder 20. Okay? It's the occiput where the brain connects to the atlas and axis. And that point there can be a knockout point or a kill point, depending on how hard you strike it and at what angle you strike it. So let's take another look at that one. He's here. I want to draw him off balance. I don't want to stay here and do this, because if I escape the wrist here, what's going to happen now? So instead, I want to move myself out of the range and the position of the target. Whenever you're looking at the defensive tactics of karate, you always want to think in terms of doing three things simultaneously. If he's striking me, I want to move myself so that I'm no longer where he was aiming. Let's say he's punching right here. I want to not be there. So that's where we use ma'ai or distance control. So then now he's not there. I also want to redirect the incoming weapon. So in the case of this technique, right, this could also be translated where as this comes in, while I escape the wrist, I'm also moving outside of the attack. And now I'm controlling the incoming weapon so that it misses the intended target. The third thing I always want to do is something to the opponent so that they won't attack me again. And I want to do all of these simultaneously. So let's say he does the grab and he's also with that doing a gyakutsuki or oizuki to my head. Then now this makes sense. Okay? So one of the things that Shihan Troche was extremely skilled at was being able to deal with an incoming punch with one hand and turn that into a disabling throw and lock for his uke. So if I'm Tori and Sensei John is uke and that punch comes to me, Sensei Troche would just do stuff like this, then just his step forward would break the person. Conversely, I can also do that from the inside. Same strike comes in. Okay? This is very, very simple, but it takes quite a bit of practice to be good at. The good news for you, if you're a beginning karateka just learning Taikyoku Shodan and Heian Shodan, is there is a lifetime of bunkai for you to discover just in this sequence. So let's take another look at this portion. I'm just going to draw him off from that escape and do this attack right here. Now you know what the next one is. The next one from here is that oizuki. The difference is I'm going to anchor so that that oizuki goes through him at another tuite, another subo point, a temi striking point. And I'm going to go through him. So from here to here to here, just in that sequence alone, we have quite a bit. And then again, we'd repeat ourselves, but this time with a 90-degree turn. So if I just struck him here and he didn't go to the ground, and now I've got a 90-degree turn this way, right? This is quite a nice shot right here. So as I go here, he goes to strike me with this other arm. I'm going to bridge over here, boom. And that becomes just another Gerambarai. These are extremely basic techniques, but just like building a house, if you don't build the foundation strong, it really doesn't matter what kind of windows you're going to have. It really doesn't matter what kind of countertop you're going to have in your bathroom. You need to make sure that your ground is solid, that your foundation is solid, that your posts are solid, everything else that builds the frame of your house, which is the foundation of your training in Shotokan Karate-do. So this is dedicated to my teacher, Shihan Kevin Funakoshi, his father, Shihan Kevin Funakoshi, and our late teacher who recently passed away, Shihan Tony Troche. Okay? Kisuke. Arigatou gozaimashita. Aloha.